Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. In the last episode, we wrapped up the month of June here in season number 5, and today we are going to go up to the All-Star break. So the month of June was actually a fairly rocky one for us. We really didn't do all that well, but we finished the month off on a 5-game winning streak, so we do have some positive momentum going into the month of July. The Blue Jays, who started off the year rough, have completely caught up to us as they are now only a game back. And we have 2 series against them before the All-Star break, which we will be going in-depth on today. At 48-29, the Orioles have the 3rd best record in baseball, just a slight knock below the Red Hot Astros and the Los Angeles Angels. The National League is very different to the American League. So in the AL, there's a lot more elite teams, but not as much depth. In the NL, it's less top-heavy, but more good teams fighting for wildcard spots. So as we look at the lineup, I do want to mention that Heston Kjerstad is finally back from his injury. And it is worth noting that in each of the past 3 seasons, Kjerstad has missed significant time with injury, and I am legitimately concerned about his ability of staying on the field. Kjerstad has also struggled this season, barely hitting 200. For now, he will play against righties. I still think he is caliber of being a starting level player. He just has to get his act together, and hopefully he will. The power has still been there. It's just the average and hitting with base runners on that he's really struggled with. As for the pitching, it seems like Max Meyer is finally starting to cool off, but he's still been very good. The bullpen's in a good spot. Obviously, the rotation is as well. And before we get into game action, we are going to make a quick roster move. We don't have enough pitchers on the roster with Heston Kjerstad being back, and I've decided to recall up Amir Garrett, who's pitched great in AAA. He has struggled in the big leagues this season, but I think he's earned an opportunity back. Christian Robinson will move down to AAA. I just don't really see a need for him. With doing this move, we now have the minimum number of pitchers necessary on a Major League roster, and Xavier Bowman officially gets to become an everyday player, so I guess that's kind of cool. We're going to simulate this first series in July against Texas. I really want to get to Toronto because they've been playing really well. And we do have a fairly big trade. Luke Weaver going from Tampa Bay to Miami. Now that it's July, we're going to see some more trades. And, well, the Rays continue to sell just like last year. Unfortunately, we have some big injury news. Max Meyer has torn his pec, and he's going to be out for probably a month or 2. This happened in the final game against Texas. He pitched in 2 innings and then I guess got hurt. Then Will Brooks came in and pitched 5 dominant innings. So it's good that we still got the win, but it sucks that Max Meyer, who of course has finally figured it out this year, is going to be out, likely for a large duration of the summer. So replacing him in the rotation will be Matthew Thompson. There aren't many better options in the minors. I know Thompson has struggled really the past couple of seasons in our organization. He hasn't done all that well this year in AAA, but there aren't really many better choices. I also don't really want to run a 4-man rotation, and there's not really anybody I trust in the bullpen to become a starter. Will Brooks has decent stamina. Amir Garrett and Brusdar Graterol were both at one point starters, but none of those guys are starting level pitchers now, so I'm comfortable with going with Matthew Thompson. As we hop into this game against Toronto, I do want to mention a couple things. One, Louis St. John is still the front runner for MVP. He also has 99 power against lefties now, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to simulate this first game against Toronto. I wanted to play in that second one. I was intrigued by the pitching matchup. I wanted to see some more Yerman Marquez. And the Rays offered us a trade, and it's a very insignificant one. I decided not to do it because I didn't really see a point. But we ended up winning that first game against Toronto 13-8. So that means we are now on a 9-game win streak. Lenny Lane went deep twice. St. John also hit a home run. Those two continue to lead the majors in home runs by a fairly wide margin. So let's hop into this game against the division rival Toronto Blue Jays. These two teams have been neck and neck, really, since the start of last year in this AL East. And it appears it's going to be a tight race going into the month of September for the division crown, just like last season. So Yerman Marquez will be on the bump today for the O's. We haven't talked about him a ton this year, that being because, well, he's been good. He hasn't been great, but he's been very good. Some pitchers like Bieber and Meyer have kind of overshadowed him, but Marquez has probably been this team's most consistent starter. He does not start off the day great as Cavan Biggio hits a home run into left center field. That'll be Cavan Biggio's 13th of the year. and the Blue Jays quickly strike first. They lead 1-0. As good as this Orioles lineup is, Toronto's is dangerous as well. They are a deep and talented group led by this man, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who gets fooled by the slider. That was a full count as well, a gutsy pitch by Marquez. Alek Manoah will be starting for Toronto. He's done a nice job as a middle-of-the-rotation guy behind Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty in this loaded Toronto rotation. Lenny Lang up to bat with 2 away, hits this one into the right center gap. That'll drop for extra bases. Lang continues his MVP caliber season at the plate, as it'll be a double for Lenny Lang. And now there's a runner in scoring position and a huge opportunity for Baltimore's other MVP candidate, Louis St. John, who grounds it to third. Guerrero will make the play. Toronto gets out of the inning fairly cleanly without allowing a run. Let's move forward into the second. 1-0 your score. Will go to the bottom of the second specifically, as it's Shed Long who lines it into right field. Of course, Shed Long started the year off slow. It's been good to see him really playing pretty well the past couple of months. Not as good as he was last year, but still quite good. And then Carmen Sixto launches a bomb into left field. A 2-run shot. That one did not just scrape over the fence. That one was a moonshot. Home run number 9 on the year for Sixto, another player who started the year off pretty slow, but really throughout the past month, he has played way better, which has been great to see. Yermin Mercedes getting the start today at first base. He goes down on the splitter, so after allowing the home run, Alek Manoah immediately back to business. Let's go to the third now. Yerman Marquez quietly outside of the home run by Kevin Biggio earlier. Marquez is pitching really well as it gets Biggio to fly out to right. It is caught by Heston Kjerstad. Of course, it's great to have him back in the lineup. And now we go to the bottom of the third. Adley Rutschman hits that one in front of a wall in right center. Rounding first, sliding to second safely for a double. And with 1 away, the Orioles have a runner in scoring position. So far, the Baltimore lineup has looked quite solid. Rutschman is now on third, 2 away for Louis St. John. It was another opportunity to drive in a run. Unfortunately, he does not. Instead, flying out to first, Rowdy Tellez makes the play. Of course, Louis St. John leads all of baseball in RBIs this season, but he's had a couple of opportunities today to drive in some runs and has not capitalized. Bo Bichette draws a walk, so now Toronto has a runner on. That'll bring up Rowdy Tellez, 3-1 pitch. He also draws a walk. So now Yerman Marquez is starting to look sloppy a little bit, and that'll bring up George Springer. This one is sprung into left field, a 3-run homer for George Springer. And the Toronto Blue Jays will take a 4-2 lead. Home run number 14 on the year for Springer. That's what the kids call a Springer dinger, but the hits are going to keep on coming. The very next batter for Toronto would also get a base hit. That's Eric Hosmer. Teoscar Hernandez now up with 1 away, grounded to short. And the Orioles will turn 2. They get out of what could have been a disaster of an inning. It still was, considering 3 runs scored. Long opens up the bottom half of the inning, grounding out to first. What a play by Rowdy Tellez, the big fella, getting down and dirty to get the out. The Orioles make a pitching change here going into the 5th inning. It'll be Will Brooks who checks into the game. Brooks started the year off poorly, but the past couple of months, he's pitched really, really well. Little lefty-on-lefty crime here with 2 away. It's Biggio who flies out to center, caught by Xavier Bowman. A good 1-2-3 inning for Will Brooks, and the Orioles hope they can get multiple innings out of him as they try to get back into this ball game down by 2 with their 9-game win streak on the line. Heston Kjerstad here in the bottom of the 5th. Full count pitch. Lines this one nicely into center field. That'll go for a hit. So far, since Kjerstad is done back, he hasn't really played well or poorly. I mean, he's barely played, so there's not a whole lot to really go off of. With that, Alek Manoah would be taken out of the game. It'll be Trent Thornton who replaces him. 2 away now for Adley Rutschman. He goes down looking on the high fastball. Nice pitch from Thornton. That'll get Toronto out of the inning as the score remains 4-2. Will Brooks still in the game. 2 away for Rowdy Tellez, who hits this one nicely deep in the left center field, but it is going to be caught by Louis St. John. Another 1-2-3 inning for Will Brooks, who is continuing to pitch really, really well. Let's go to the bottom half of the inning now. The Orioles have not scored since the second inning. They have to get back on track, and I suppose that's a good start. Louis St. John with his first hit of the game, a single into right field, and the AL MVP favorite continues to rake. 2 away now for Xavier Bowman. We'll see if this is where the Orioles can get back into the game with a runner on, and the answer is a resounding no. Bowman flies out to center. It is going to be caught by Randy Arozarena. So the Orioles still have not scored since the second inning and are still down by 2. More lefty-on-lefty action. Great hustle here by Shed Long. And Will Brooks. I know I've raved about him a little bit today, but my golly, has he been impressive. If he can get Teoscar Hernandez out, that'll be 3 perfect innings, and that's exactly what happens. Hernandez. Oh, whoa, it's not going to happen. Carmen Sixto, his throw was offline. So Will Brooks does not get 3 perfect innings. Carmen Sixto on the very next play overthrows the second baseman. What is happening? This inning should be over. But instead, there are 2 runners in scoring position because of very poor defense by Carmen Sixto. Luckily, the following batter, Randy Arozarena, flies out behind the plate. So Will Brooks had to get 5 outs in that inning. The Orioles are very lucky they did not allow a run. 2 costly errors by Carmen Sixto that nearly led to Toronto scoring. Into the bottom of the 7th, still 4-2. It's the Yerminator, Yermin Mercedes, going for extra bases. A double for Mercedes, and this is hopefully where the Orioles can finally get some more runs and put themselves back in the game. Mercedes has gotten a base hit in each of the last 6 games he's played, and with that, Trent Thornton will be removed from the ball game. It'll be Tim Maiza who enters in his place, facing off against the lefty, Heston Kjerstad, who takes a big swing and a miss. Huge strikeout for Maiza, and now it'll be Ryan Mountcastle who has to drive him a run. Mountcastle lines this one into right field. That'll drop for an extra base hit. Mercedes scores fairly easily. A 2-out double for Ryan Mountcastle, and the Baltimore Orioles are finally back on the board as it is now 4-3. Clutch hitting for Mountcastle, who continues to have a great season. We'll see if Adley Rutschman here can tie it. He does not, instead flying out to right. So not a bad inning. The Orioles score 1, but they are still down. Will Brooks will be taken out of the game after 3 phenomenal innings, and it'll be Brusdar Graterol, who's been probably Baltimore's most consistent reliever this season, checking into the game. With 1 away, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. who bloops this one into left field. That will go for a hit. That ball kind of went into no man's land, and with Bowman and St. John both playing deep, Guerrero does get on base. Bo Bichette is now up. Grounds this one to third, and Carmen Sixto is like, hey, they can't call me for an error if I don't try to field it. Now, they would actually call that an error, funny enough. So that is 3 errors against Carmen Sixto in the past, inning and a half, and at this point, he cannot stay in the game. So Jalen Miller will substitute for him, and now there's 2 runners on. This one hit nicely into left field, caught by Louis St. John for the second out of the inning. And, of course, the shortstop completely misses the throw. Now, nothing happened as a result of that, but, geez, the Orioles' defense looks horrible right now. George Springer grounds it to short. Ryan Mountcastle's throw is not in time. The defensive woes continue. An infield single for Springer, and the bases are now loaded for Eric Hosmer, who grounds it to third. Can the Orioles get out of the inning? Finally, thank God. After another error and more defensive issues, the Orioles are very lucky to have not allowed a run in that inning as it remains 4-3. Trevor May will enter on the mound for Toronto here in the bottom of the 8th as he faces off against Lenny Ling to lead off the inning. Ling hits this one high, deep, into straightaway center field, and it is gone! Tie game! Home run number 30 on the season for Lenny Ling, who ties his teammate Louis St. John for the Major League lead. Lenny and St. John have continued to pretty much go back and forth for who is on top of the home run leaderboard. Arozarena grounds out to first here in the bottom of the 9th, so Graterol retires the side. And now the Orioles have shot to walk it off here in the bottom of the 9th, with this game being tied up at 4. We'll see if the Orioles can finish it off in regulation or if we will go to extras. Yermin Mercedes grounds it to short. What a play by Bo Bichette. That should have been a single, but Bichette makes an incredible diving grab to get the out. 2 away now for Ryan Mountcastle. Singles this one into center field. So the game will stay alive a little bit longer. And now Adley Rutschman has a chance, likely with an extra base hit, to finish it off. Ryan Borucki will enter on the mound. The Blue Jays wanted to get a lefty in because Adley Rutschman does better against righties. And Rutschman gets fooled by the slider. A nasty pitch by Borucki. This game is not over. Through 9 innings, we are going into the 10th. Julian Starnes is now on the mound for the Orioles, and with there being a runner on second to start the inning, he has a little bit of the jam he has to get out of. Starnes bobbles that one. He does make the play to get Vladimir Guerrero Jr. out, and now Toronto needs a base hit to get this run in. It'll be Bo Bichette who hits it into center field, and it will be caught by Bowman. A great 1-2-3 inning for Julian Starnes, despite there being a runner on second, finishing off the inning successfully. And now, a base hit for the Orioles probably wins the game with the meat of the order up. Lenny Lane draws a walk, so now there's 2 on, nobody out, and it's Louis St. John who rakes against left-handed pitchers with that 99 power. We'll see what he can do here. 2-1, nobody out, the 1-1 pitch. Grounds it to third for a 5-4-3 double play. Probably the worst case scenario there, but if nothing else, the runner is 90 feet away from home, and he would not end up scoring. So we go to the 11th. Edwin Diaz is in. Although it's not a save opportunity, the Orioles want their best pitcher in the game. They want to try to finish this one off now. But Toronto's instantly going to score a run as Rowdy Tellez singles into right field. Bichette will slide safely home, and the Toronto Blue Jays take a 5-4 lead. The Blue Jays' first runs since the 4th inning. With 2 away now, another single into right. Tellez headed home. The throw from Bowman is in time! What a throw by Xavier Bowman! Maybe the defensive play of the year, saving a run from being put off the board. And at this stage in the game, that could be the difference between winning and losing. Wow! Peter Fairbanks is in for the save. Ivan Cortez Jr. enters as a pinch runner, the speedster. So a base hit here from Xavier Bowman, who just had the big defensive play, should tie it up. And that's exactly what happens. A single into center field for Bowman. Ivan Cortez Jr. will score fairly easily. And this game is now tied up at 5. The chaos continues. 2 on, now 1 away for Kjerstad. Lines this one into center field. Bowman headed home. The throw from Arozarena is just not in time. The Orioles walk it off. 5-6 is your final. The walk-off hero, Heston Kjerstad, who drove in the run. I think the real hero, though, is Xavier Bowman, who threw out the runner in the top half of the inning. He drove in the tying run and scored the winning run. Overall, this was a really fun game. Definitely a team effort. We had 14 hits, but nobody had more than 2 individually. Carmen Sixto, of course, had 3 errors. I know third base is not one of his secondary positions, but he has a good arm, so I don't really see how he was struggling out there. German Marquez was a little bit shaky, but the bullpen was top-notch. Will Brooks, 3 perfect innings, minus the errors, which were not by him. Gratterall, great. Starnes, great. Diaz, great. Awesome to see the bullpen really pitching well. So now we have won 9 in a row, as we're going to simulate our next 4, get into the other series on the road in Toronto. The Blue Jays were clearly mad about the loss, so they go ahead and acquire Max Kepler from the Twins. They really miss the lefty bat of Austin Meadows, who left in the offseason from the Padres, so I guess this is their Austin Meadows replacement. We're getting some trade offers as well. The White Sox want to give us Jace Fry, whose ERA is in like the 7s, so I have no interest in that. The Marlins offer is Jared Kelenic for Manny Miranda. I think they offered us this trade earlier in the season. I don't want to do this trade. I really like Manny Miranda. I think he's someone who could get called up to the big leagues pretty soon. So we ended up officially sweeping Toronto, pushing our win streak up to 10. Unfortunately, it stopped there, but we still won the Boston series, and we're now on a 2-game win streak with a record of 56-30. We're going to get another trade offer from the Rockies. They're offering us Dom Nunez for 2 potential prospects. If we needed a catcher, maybe, but we don't. So I simmed that first Blue Jays game. We won, so now we're on a 3-game win streak, and we have won 13 of our last 14 games. I decided to play this second matchup. Again, I was intrigued by the pitching matchup. I wanted to see some more Grayson Rodriguez, so we're going to get a look at him here today at the Rogers Center in Toronto. The Orioles currently 57-30 with just 2 more games before the All-Star break. Toronto not too far behind at 52-36. No Adley Rutschman, he's getting the day off, so your mean Mercedes will start at catcher. Jordan Montgomery, the lefty, on the bump for the Blue Jays, 4.62 ERA. He does have a pretty good whip, although I will say Louis St. John is probably licking his chops right now. Expect a big day from him, and speaking of, he's up at the plate, and he completely mashes a pitch that wasn't even in the zone. St. John, on his horse, he's thinking about going 3, but then chooses to retreat back to second, and he is out. St. John tried to get a little greedy, going for a couple extra bases, and it didn't really work out. So here's Grayson Rodriguez, who's pitched quite well as of recent, an ERA at 3.3, whip at 1.38. He's been really solid since replacing Framber Valdez in the rotation back in April. Runner on, 1 away, the Orioles turn the 4-6-3 double play. Good work there by the defense. That was Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who was the one who grounded in to the double play. Into the top of the second, runner on first here for your mean Mercedes, who singles up the gut into center field. The Orioles have 3 base hits so far, so we'll see if here in the second is where they can do some early damage. Ryan Mountcastle up at the plate. 1-2 pitch with 1 out. Weekly grounds it to third. Toronto has a chance for a double play of their own, and that's exactly what happens. 5-4-3 goes down Mountcastle. A couple early double plays. Now we go to the bottom of the second. The new acquisition, Max Kepler, goes down looking on the fastball. Nice pitch from Grayson Rodriguez. So a good one there. Good start for Grayson. And we go to the third. Carmen Sixto leads things off, and Sixto hits it nicely for a single. That pitch was nowhere near Montgomery, yet he ducked for it as if he was going to get clobbered. I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, but still, I don't know what he was worried about. Jalen Miller is now up to bat. Miller lines this one into center. Again, that pitch was nowhere close to hitting Montgomery, yet he still ducks away. So again, the Orioles are getting base runners, as that'll bring up Louis St. John. The lefty killer grounds it right to short for what looks like another double play. That was such a huge opportunity, too, for St. John to break this game wide open, but unfortunately, that is not going to happen. Let's go to the 4th inning now. Game remains tied at 0. 1-2 here for Castellanos, who will single this one. Bo Bichette does a nice job of deflecting it, but still a base hit for Castellanos. The Orioles continue to get hits. They just can't drive in runs, as Castellanos is picked off going back to first. He had a little too much of the lead there and did not get back to first base in time. On the very next pitch, your mean Mercedes strikes out. So the Orioles continuing to mess up anytime there's runners on base. And now we go to the bottom half of the inning. Toronto trying to get on the board as Guerrero gets that one to scrape over the fence for a solo shot. We finally have runs. Home run number 19 on the year for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And the Blue Jays will make it a 1-0 game. The very next batter, Bo Bichette, clobbers it into left field. Unlike Vladdy's home run, this is a no-doubter. Bichette with his 19th of the year. And after there was no offense for Toronto for 3 innings, they go back-to-back and now lead 2-0. Randy Arozarena trying to keep on the fun as he grounds it to second, but Mountcastle's throw is offline. Are we going to have more defensive blunders again, just like with Carmen Sixto? So now, Rowdy Tellez hits a missile into right center field, and because of the error by Mountcastle, run scores, and it is now 3-0. But let's have some more fun. Mountcastle completely overthrows Adley Rutschman. The ball takes an unlucky bounce behind the plate, so Tellez gets to go to third. That's another error for Mountcastle. So now with 1 away, Kepler grounds it to first, and Mountcastle misses it again. I think that's 3 consecutive plays with an error by the same player. That has to be some sort of record. So now it's 4-0. Mountcastle still in the game, trying to make up for his mistakes, and he does hit a single, but that doesn't really avenge the fact that the Blue Jays scored 2 runs in direct result of his errors. Carmen Sixto is now up at the plate. Sixto with a moonshot into left field and a bat flip. The Orioles are back in the game after allowing 4 runs in the 4th inning. They answer, kind of. A 2-run shot for Carmen Sixto, his 10th of the year, and it is now 4-2. That'll bring up Jalen Miller with 2 away, who hits this one into straightaway center. I'm not sure it has enough carry, and it does! Solo home run for Miller, number 5 on the season for Jalen Miller. And now all of a sudden, both offenses are clicking and clicking quickly. There was virtually no offense through 3.5 innings, and now both teams have exploded. So let's go to the bottom of the 5th. 1 away for Hosmer, who singles into center field. So again, Toronto's offense is continuing to do well. You'd have to assume a pitching change could be imminent for Baltimore. Guerrero grounds this one to second. Jalen Miller, who has moved over to second, deflects it, but is unable to get the out at first. So now there's a pair of runners on for Bo Bichette. He singles into right field. Ramos fields it. A great throw to the plate, but just not in time. Hosmer is safe, and it is now 5-3. And at this point, Grayson Rodriguez needs to be taken out of the game. It'll be for rookie Cosmo Cruz out of Venezuela, who enters. Cruz has pitched pretty well this season. His first batter is Randy Arozarena, who crushes a 3-run moonshot into left center field. And the Blue Jays have slammed the door as they have scored 8 runs in the past inning and a half. And they now lead 8-3. This game has quickly turned into a blowout, and the Orioles need to answer quick. Castellanos singles into center, and with that, Jordan Montgomery would be removed from the game. Trent Thornton would enter. As with 2 away, Xavier Bowman singles into center field. The Orioles have to capitalize here. They have 2 runners on base, and it's Ryan Mountcastle, who had a few mess-ups earlier. Mountcastle dribbles that one over Thornton's head for a single. Runner headed home. The throw from Arozarena is not in time. So now it is 8-4, and good on Ryan Mountcastle. He allowed 2 runs on defense. Since then, he has scored and he's driven in a run. So he's been responsible for 2 runs on offense as well since his errors. The inning would come to a close there. Carmen Sixto flies out to center. So the Orioles score 1. They do a little damage control, but they had a chance there with a couple runners on base. Cruz will be taken out of the game for Will Brooks, who's continuing to pitch very well. A couple runners on base here with 2 away for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who flies out to right and will be caught by Elliot Ramos. So a good job there by Brooks to get out of a little bit of the jam. It remains 8-4 as we go to the 7th. Elliot Ramos leads things off, grounds it to third, and Guerrero lets that one roll right by his glove for a single. So Ramos is now aboard with nobody out, and a nice opportunity here for the AL MVP favorite, Luis St. John. 2-run mammoth into left field. Home run number 32 on the season for LSJ. That number does lead the majors, of course, and he cuts the lead in half. It's now 8-6. St. John realizes how big of a rivalry these 2 teams have, so because of that, he decided to do a little celebration after the home run as he does a little twirl with the bat. I don't think Toronto's going to like that, but these 2 teams are rivals. Let the kids play. In the bottom half of the inning, Tellez grounds out to first. A 1-2-3 inning there for Will Brooks, who has thrown 2 scoreless today. And we go to the 8th. Trey Winggetter is in for the Blue Jays with 1 away. He faces off against Xavier Bowman, who bloops it into right center, and it will drop. So the tying run is now at the plate. The Orioles have a chance to complete the comeback right here in this inning. And it's Ryan Mountcastle, who's made quite a few mistakes today, but he's also gotten 3 consecutive hits in his last 3 at-bats. Since the 3 errors, Ryan Mountcastle is 3 for 3. Ironic. And now there's a couple runners on. 1 away for Carmen Sixto, who grounds it right to the pitcher for a double play. That stings. The Orioles had a chance to continue to push into the lead, and they failed, unfortunately. So now into the 9th inning, Peter Fairbanks is in for the save. He blew it the last time these 2 teams faced off. And he's not off to a great start here. Jalen Miller lines it into left center, and it is gone. Where has this been all year from Jalen Miller? His 2nd home run of the game, 6th of the year, and Baltimore cuts it within 1. It is now 7-8. Let's go to 2 outs now for Lenny Lang, who is 0 for 4 today, but he has a chance to be the hero or the scapegoat. Instead, he's going to be neither. Singling into right center field, so nothing spectacular, but he keeps the game alive. So he would be removed from the game. Marco Luciano will sub in as a pinch runner. Normally that would be Ivan Cortez Jr., but he had an at-bat earlier in the inning, and Luciano is the fastest player on the bench. Castellanos grounds it to short. Bichette flips it over to second, and the Blue Jays win a thriller. 8-7 is your final, a very close one, and a game that we probably should have won had it not been for some defensive blunders and a lot of double plays. But nonetheless, a really fun game, one of the most exciting of the year. We had 16 hits, 7 runs. Jalen Miller dominated with 2 dingers. Sixto St. John also went deep. Ryan Mountcastle had a nice day offensively, but he had 3 errors. Mountcastle does not play second, but he can play every other position in the infield. I don't know how he would struggle at second base. The bullpen again was really good. Once again, major shout out to Will Brooks, who threw 3 more scoreless innings. He continues to just be marvelous this year. Major shout out for Will Brooks. The Blue Jays offense was not that impressive. They had a dominant 4th inning, a dominant 5th inning, and other than that, they didn't really do all that well, but they did enough to win the game. We're not going to do any more simulating because I don't want to skip through the Futures game, which is usually the day before the All-Star festivities, which is what we're going to go over next episode. Of course, we're going to go over the Futures game, the All-Star game, stuff like that, but I'm really excited about the Home Run Derby. Lenny Lanyon and Louis St. John lead the majors in home runs, so they will for sure be participating, and I'm excited to see what those two can do. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. Peace out.